What's up, everybody? I'm going to wait until people pop on here. Let's see how this goes. Ooh, I see some people jumping in. If you're here, say hello. Hey, Rain, what's up? Thanks for being here. What are you up to? I'm gonna wait. It takes YouTube a minute to like distribute the notifications. So, hey, Pam Smith, Deborah Rossman, what's up? Hey, guys. What is everybody up to right now? What is today? It's just Thursday. Ugh, ready for tomorrow. I'm ready for Friday. I'm ready for the weekend. Oh, Rain, you got your hair cut today? That's awesome. That always feels nice and fresh after you're done. Fan member Charles in the house. What's up, Charles? What's up? I'm going to wait until a few more people pop in here. Joanna Bachman. Hey-o. What's up? Hey, missed the last one because I have meetings on Monday evening, but excited to be here for this one. So, Emily, I don't think you missed much because I didn't end up going live on Monday for the book because so many people were waiting for their books to come in that we waited a little bit longer to talk about it. So, you are totally good. Not much. Hey, Inez. Inez cannot wait to listen because Inez is going to be borrowing my book when I'm done with it. She's already going to know everything that happens before she reads it. Sorry, Inez. Oh, and fold clothes, girl. I have been folding clothes and they are all on my bed right now. And I slept on the couch last night because I didn't want to move them. So that's kind of sad. Oh, last Monday. I see, Emily. So, okay. Was just watching last night's foodies video while eating McDonald's without even knowing what the video was. Ella, that is awesome. Yep, we did the Travis Scott burger meal, and it was good. It was actually really good. So, okay, who in here has been reading the book at all? Anybody? Susan Norton, hey, good to see you in the live. You guys, I'm kind of going earlier than the norm, so I'm not sure how many people we will actually have in the live today because, yeah, it's I usually go at 6, but we have soccer practice tonight, so it's okay. I'll conveniently forget. I know that's me, like, just not even trying to forget. I forget anyway. Like, I'm just trying, like, as I'm reading this book, I'm trying to remember all the other books, but, like, my mind is so mixed between the books and the movie, like I can't remember which was which. Oh, Susan, you've been listening on audio while you work. Okay, so Susan, what chapter are you on? Did you finish all the way through chapter 8? That was mean of Danny to trick you. Oh my gosh, you guys. Just wait, because payback is coming. Payback's coming for that prank that he did on me. I was like, what? Nah, it's okay. Okay. So Susan, let me know your thoughts. Is anybody else in here reading it? Because, okay, so I'll give my brief thoughts on these last few chapters. So I'm liking Edward's perspective because, okay, I can see why some people think Edward is a creep because I'm like, oh my gosh, like if this was any other like person in real life, I would be like, okay, you're a little obsessive. Like he's already talking about that he loves her. Like he's already like, I'm in love with this girl basically. And he just cannot figure out why she has such like a handle over him. And I really like his perspective because seeing through him what he feels for Bella is like very interesting to me. And like just the steps of getting to know her, like in these chapters, he was talking about like a thing that stuck out to her. I have my notes here because each chapter I'm like, I won't remember everything. But I don't know if those of you who are reading it, how he noticed Bella is the type to include people. So there was a group of people in their like science class. And I can't remember if this was in the other books from Bella's perspective or not. I don't remember it. But they had to get together and they had to be in like a group for, I guess it was like science class. I can't remember which class, but she ended up like asking this girl named Tara to come into their group and he was like, why is she asking her? Like, she doesn't get good grades. She like, most people don't include her. She's usually the one that's like the last person left. And so he was like noticing, like one of the things he was saying about Bella was she's good. She's one of the good ones. Like she's just a good person. And so that I think was his first glimpse of like seeing how good she was, because she just wanted to include people. And so he was seeing this trend throughout, because like she would do things to like stick up for people. So who was it that she was like, oh, I can't remember who it was, but he was basically saying, he was talking about like his favorite vacation, and they kind of started making fun of him, saying like he would love to go to Comic-Con. And so they were kind of laughing at him, and she was like, oh no, like that's where I would want to go too. And so I really loved that. I loved that Edward witnessed that and like is just having to like figure her out without reading her mind. But he can read everybody's mind around her. So he's kind of like, it's so interesting to me how he can do that. I'm sorry, but I've had enough of reading with college blah. I get you, Joanna. I get you. Yes, Emily. I agree with you 100%. Emily said that this book paints Bella in a much better light. I would agree with you, because I wasn't a huge Bella fan, because I was just kind of like, eh. I mean, I didn't hate her, but I'm like, you know, she's just all right. I don't know. I just wasn't like, oh, Bella's the best. But I agree with you. I feel like this book, seeing Bella through Edward's eyes, is like, oh, I'm actually really liking her now, because you see all the things that Bella wouldn't, like Bella would never talk about herself in that way. And so, and I feel like almost Bella was almost like insecure and not confident and stuff. And so you kind of got this different picture of her, but through seeing her through Edward's eyes, I'm like, I kind of like Bella. Like, I like that she's a good person. She wants to include others, like all of that stuff. I was like, huh, this is interesting. Don't vampires know when they find their partners like a wolf imprint? When he knows he knew, he probably should have felt she was going to be the queen vampire soon enough. LOL. That, you know what, Inez, that actually crossed my mind too. I'm like, was it in the first books where did they talk about that? Does anybody remember who read the actual books? Because I don't feel like well, maybe the movies touched on it. See, my brain is like gone. But is it that way where vampires kind of know their soulmates, I guess, when they see them? Because I know it was that way for the wolves. So I'm curious. I can't remember, but he is so dead set on like her. He's all about her. And so that's why these chapters are so interesting to me, because, okay, do you guys remember either in the movie, or I don't know if it was in the books because it's been so long since I've read those other books, but in the movie, remember when she was sleeping and she like woke up and she like saw a glimpse of Edward there? Well, we find out in this book that Edward literally goes to her house every night, basically, and watches her sleep. Is that creep or what? That's so creepy. And I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, he's a vampire and like he's protecting her and like making sure, like in the book, it was talking about how he was killing like hobo spiders so that like the spiders would, like, he's so overly protective of her that it's kind of in a way almost creepy, but in another way endearing. Is that, yeah, Inez, that is creepy. Oh, I hate when people watch people sleep. I know. I'm like, this is so weird. But then at the same time, I'm like, it's kind of cute. No? Or am I just giving him excuses? Super creepy, but also he was sort of doing it with good intentions. So I don't know how to feel about it. I know, Emily, I'm feeling the same way. I'm like, I like it, but I'm like, but if that happened in like real life and some dude was like watching you sleep that you didn't, I mean, they don't really know each other that well yet. But if he was in your room, like literally watching you sleep, I'm like, that's like creep. I would be calling the police and being like, why is this dude in my house? So I'm curious if she ever, let me know if you guys remember from the other books or not or whatever. Does she ever find out that he was there like all those nights watching her? I'm curious. Inez, Paul watches you sleep. Can you imagine that's creepy? You wake up and they're like, Just staring at you. Okay. Let's see. That's very creepy, Susan says. Let's see. It was in the movie, and he even told her that in the movie. He would watch her sleep because he doesn't sleep. Okay. I'm glad you remember that, because I feel like I had like a faint like remembrance of it, but I couldn't fully remember if that actually was said. She was obviously fine with it, right? Like she obviously did not care. She's not, and that's what Edward always touches on, is how she is like not like any other human. She thinks differently than the other humans. Sleeping, that's a good point. Sleeping or not, I don't like when someone stares at me, period, basically. That's true. Take a picture, it lasts longer type of thing, right? That's so funny. Inez, we're married, not the same. Yeah, Paul watching you while you sleep versus some practical stranger sneaking in your window watching you sleep, totally different. But it's funny to see like his struggle with trying to figure out like how she feels about him, because he can't get a good sense of how she feels. And so when he's in her room and she's sleeping and he's watching her, he's like, she starts talking her in her sleep and she says his name. And so he's like, whoa, like she's like dreaming about me. And so he kind of liked that, because he felt like, oh, maybe she does like have feelings for me or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. And the other thing that's kind of funny and possessive and like, hilarious, I don't know if I should be, if Edward's a creep or what, but I almost feel like he kind of gets a pass because he's like a vampire. I don't know. But how jealous he is of, is it Mike? Is that his name? Yes. Mike, what's his last name, you guys? I forget. But you guys remember Mike and how like he would ask Bella on dates and things like that. Well, you really get to hear, obviously, Edward's perspective of Mike. He wants to kill Mike. Like, he's like, I could literally, he said in here, I could kill Mike for pure just enjoyment. Like, that's how mad Mike makes him. And it mentions in here how Mike kind of has like really inappropriate thoughts about Bella, like thoughts and fantasies about Bella, which makes him hate Mike even more because he's so protective of her. So when Mike is like talking about that stuff or thinking about that stuff, Edward's like, like he does not like him. She was like, that's so romantic. Yeah, I remember it from the movie, just pulled out the original book, and I'm going to try to see if I can find it in the book. Yeah, let me know, Emily. I'm super curious. Sounds creepy. Yeah, you know what? And a lot of people have said, like, I don't like Twilight because Edward's creepy. And I'm like, I've never really seen that, because I'm like, no, he's not creepy. He's just like a hopeless romantic, you know? Like, he just really loves her. And after this, I'm like, I still love Edward, but I'm just like, oh yeah, I can see how that could be creepy. Like if she wasn't in love with him in return, she would probably be so creeped out, because she can hear his thoughts, right? Oh, he can hear his thoughts. Right, Inez. So he can hear he can hear everybody's thoughts except Bella's. And so he, in these chapters, he was trying to like, he would, which is creepy too, but he was kind of trying to hear what was going on with Bella through everybody else's thoughts. So he would tune into what like Mike was thinking, so he could hear like Bella's response to certain things and try to figure her out that way too, which is so crazy and interesting. But I don't know, you guys, even I almost feel like the fact that he can read minds is almost like torment. Like, I feel like that would be so hard to know what everyone was thinking, because in these chapters too, it's like he can't turn it off. So he can't like just be like, okay, I'm gonna flip this switch. I don't want to hear anybody's thoughts. It's constant. He can always hear what people's thoughts are. And I'm like, that to me would be like kind of torture. It would come in handy in some areas, but I'm like, would I really want to know what people actually think about me? Or I don't think I would want to know. That's crazy. I knew Jacob hated Mike because of the scene at the movie, but I don't know. I didn't know Edward hates him too. Exactly, sweet baby, sweet life. I didn't know either. I knew I mean, you could kind of pick up that he wasn't like fond of him, but these chapters really showed how much he really disliked, like hated actually Mike. And I think a lot of it had to do with number one, he was going after his girl, and number two, like just the thoughts he was having about her. He was like, I'm not about that, which I appreciate. He tells her in the book, just found it. Oh, he does. Emily, you found that fast. Okay, so he tells her in the book that he watched her while she slept. Is that what you're saying? And what was her response? Like, does it have a response from her in there? I'm curious. Okay, Emily said yes. So Emily said that in the book, it does say that he tells her that he watches her in her sleep, which I appreciate, because I was like, man, if he never tells her this, that's just kind of crazy. But the other thing I did love in here is he really hated that he was having to lie to her. Like, he's like, I don't, like, he was really struggling with having to lie to her with certain things. So he made a promise with himself that he was going to try to tell the truth as much as he possibly could without like outing his family and stuff. And so there were a few moments in there where she would ask questions and he would just like try to change the subject or, whatever, like, because he did not want to lie to her. He did not like lying to her. And I really like that too. She got embarrassed because she was concerned about what she says in her sleep. Yes, I remember that now. Okay, I remember that now. You're right. And so she doesn't, I mean, so far she hasn't really said anything bad in her sleep as far as what comes from Edward. She has dreamt about her mom. So she said her mom's name and stuff well, not her name, just like mom, no, like don't go. And then she has said Edward's name a couple times. So okay, Jackie remembers it from the book too. Okay, good. I'm actually glad, because as I was reading it, I'm like, please tell me he tells her. I can't remember if he does. So I'm glad that's actually a thing. Okay, you remember it from the book too? Yes. Okay. And then what else did I write? Oh, Rosalie in these chapters, you guys. Okay, yeah. So we got like a better look into Rosalie and why she's so bitter, which I don't feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't feel like was in the first books, because Edward basically, she's ticked about all of this, like this whole like him falling in love with a human and like the whole saving her and all of this stuff. And so he was at his house, they were all at the house or whatever, he was playing the piano, and he kind of, usually when he picks up on Rosalie's thoughts, it's like daggers at him. Like, she'll always be like, you're an idiot, or like, just like, she's basically just like, she's not happy with him. And so she'll shoot like dagger thoughts at him. Well, during this part in the book, she was kind of talking, or he got into her thoughts a little bit more, and she was basically thinking, like, he found out that the reason why she's so mad, get this, he was saying she's all about vanity. And so she's used to being like the prettiest and the most amazing, like even when she was a human, I know I keep saying when she was a human, she was so used to being adored and like sought after because she was so beautiful. And so even as a human, and then even as a vampire, like that's how she always was. And she could not figure out why Edward never felt that way about her. So I thought that was crazy, because I don't feel like I ever knew that about her. So she was upset that he was falling for a human like Bella, who she kind of pinned as plain, and that he never like was attracted to her or anything in that way. And he says in the book, it's not because she wants him. Like, Rosalie doesn't want to be with him, but she wants him to want her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I didn't realize that with her. It's kind of weird. Okay, so you remember that from the book too? Jackie, was that in the first one? I'm going to have to go back through and read all of the original books, because the movies I feel like stick out to me more than the books. And that really wasn't in the movies. And so I thought that was interesting that she literally wanted him to basically lust after her, because that's what she was so used to. So it's almost like a weird jealousy thing that she has with Bella, because she's like, why is he going after this plain human? as opposed to me, like, because I'm so beautiful and amazing. So, right, sweet babies? Wow, that's what I was like. Dang, you got kind of a better look into what she was like and why she was so mad, because she's a hard character for me to like, because I just feel like she's, for the most part, I mean, obviously later on, she starts being a little bit more bearable, but right now I'm like, girl, you are bitter. I do not like you. And I know we hear her story later and I can have compassion for her story, but I'm like, dang, girl, just chill. Not everybody wants you, okay? So that was kind of crazy. Yes, I keep getting the movies and books intertwined because it's been so long since I've read the original books. Yeah, so, which is kind of fun, makes this kind of fun to read it, because I have forgotten some things that were in the book. And so when things come up, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I forgot about that, or, whatever. So I'm curious with this book, how much, I wonder if it says in here, like how much it covers as far as all the rest of the book and all the whole story. Like, is this just cover the first book of Twilight? Like, you know what I'm saying? Does anybody know the answer to that question? If this covers just the very first book of the Twilight book, his thoughts on it, because what I really want to know is the whole new moon, like, experience, where he was, what he was doing, if he came to visit Bella, like, while she was sleeping or whatever, during that whole thing. Remember, like, New Moon was the worst book, in my opinion, and worst movie, because Edward's, like, not in it at all. So I want to know what his thoughts were, like, when she was having those visions of him popping up when she would do something dangerous. Like, where was he? What was he doing? And what was he thinking? Like, I want his perspective on that. So I'm curious how much of this book covers that whole thing. Okay, it just covers Twilight pretty much. So just the first book. In the book, we knew she didn't like Bella, but getting to hear how Edward felt about it and getting to know the truth. And yes, this is just the first book. I love New Moon. So I'm curious if Stephenie Meyer is going to come out with a second, like, Edward's perspective. I would be interested in reading that. Emily, you get some insight into his decision to leave, but doesn't go into him leaving. Hoping for another book about that. Okay, good to know, Emily. So hopefully, I mean, I have heard rumors that there are more books to come. So I would assume if this one has done well for her, that she is probably working on the other series, because I really want to know. I want to know where he, like, his thoughts and all that from New Moon. I hope she makes that second book. I'd love to read that too. Yeah, Inez, I'm really hoping that happens. She should make another book. Yeah, see, we're all in agreement. Maybe we should write Stephenie Meyer and be like, yo, can you, like, get on that already so we know what happened the whole New Moon? Oh, and does anybody know if this covers Jacob? Because I want to hear, want to hear Edward's thoughts on Jacob. I really, really do. I heard rumors about more coming too. Fingers crossed. Yes, fingers crossed. She should make another book. Yes. Okay, I'm trying to think if there was anything. What are any other thoughts that stuck out to you guys during these chapters? I feel like a lot of it was just him trying to figure Bella out. And at one point, he was kind of like, I can't be your friend, blah, blah, blah. And then he couldn't hold himself back from being her friend. So then he went to her and he's like, well, we could be friends. And she's just basically like, okay, like, can we be friends or can we not be friends? Like, you need to let me know what's going on here, because this is crazy. I heard rumors about more coming to, yeah, so cool. I hope it happens. Okay, Emily says, I recall Jacob being mentioned in this one, but they didn't have too many interactions in the first book. Dang it. Dang it. So I kind of hope, well, I thought it was interesting too that Jacob wasn't already mentioned, because they did do the beach trip. And I know in the movie, the beach trip, Jacob was there. And so I was kind of surprised that they didn't bring up Jacob yet, but maybe in the actual Twilight, like, book, he hadn't been introduced yet either. So that is so interesting. So I'm not a fan of Mike. At first, Mike was like I was like, oh, he's harmless. He's just kind of like one of those, like in the movie, he's kind of like, da-da, you know? And so after hearing Edward's perspective of him and what Mike does in his thoughts and stuff, I'm like, oh, okay. I would imagine that it's probably hard for Edward to have any faith in humanity when he has heard everybody's thoughts, because there's so much like yuckiness out there that I feel like he's probably like, what's wrong with these crazy people? It's so interesting to me. Yeah, Jacob recall. I don't know, you guys. I just feel like I would not want to hear people's thoughts. That used to actually be the superpower that I like. If people would be like, what's one superpower you would want? I'd be like, to read minds. And now, like reading this, I'm like, no. That would just be so chaotic in your head, hearing what everybody was thinking, not only of you, but of each other. And who knows? Like, I'm sure it could get to some dark places. I'm like, not interested. I don't think I want to do that. So, okay, chapter 9 is the part Angela's seen, and you really get to hear some thoughts there. Ooh. Oh, poor Angelus. Did I say part? Poor. Sorry, my chat is blurry. I don't know why it's always blurry. But, okay. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, so we got to jump into chapter 9, because that's when they go. I think they're going together. That's the plan. And so I guess that will really let us know what he's hearing in other people's mind. That will be so interesting. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, so you guys, should we plan on reading another 3 chapters? Jacob is just Bella's friend in the first book. New Moon is when we get more of Jacob. Okay, dang it. Because I really want to hear Edward's thoughts, but I guess it just goes back to, let's hope Stephenie Meyer makes like a New Moon sequel to Edward's perspective. We'll see, because I feel like this one has done well for her. I feel like these were sold out for a while, and no one could really get their hands on it. So we'll see. Yep. Charles, are you reading it? Are you reading the book? Let me know. I don't think you are. Who's your guys' favorite character? Like, aside from like Edward, Bella, Jacob, who do you guys like as far as maybe like Edward's siblings? I'd be curious. I have a favorite, and I'm curious if your guys' is the same as mine. Even if you haven't read this one, like out of all the Twilight books, who's your guys' favorite? Oh, Jackie likes Alice. Okay. I like Emmett the best. Oh, speaking of Emmett, I really liked Emmett's heart-to-heart with Edward in this. They went hunting together, and I felt like they had a good heart-to-heart. No, but makes me want to get the audio. Charles, you should get it. It's really cool. Oh, Inez, Emmett. Really? Emmett. So many of you guys I like Emmett too. I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but he'd be up there. He'd be up there. He's a good dude. I do like him. Someone wrote like about Jasper. Alice. I also like Alice. Yeah. So Alice is mine. I love Alice. I just think she's got that fun, spunky personality. I'm like, I would totally be her friend. I just like her. I like her, and I also like Bella's friend. Is it Jessica? What's the actress? Anna. Inez, you know, because she's in the wow. Every title, every name on my mind is gone. Hey, Shadow Soul Creator, what's up? Anna Kendrick, yes, I love like ever since that movie. When they she was in the first one, and I think she was in all of them. Was she? I think so. Anyways, I love her. I love her. I love Alice. Those are probably my pitch perfect. Thank you. I can't even think, you guys. Yeah, so Alice is my favorite, and then I like. I think her name is Jessica, right, in the movie. Just chilling, making some Trader Joe's broccoli beef for dinner. Ooh, nice. That's good. So a lot of Emmets. Okay, the thing I was going to say about Jasper was I was reading this thing of like what people thought of like the characters and stuff. And someone was saying like, why is Jasper even at high school when he has such a hard time not killing people? Like, why do they even have him at high school yet? And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Why is he there? Because he's like always so like, at least in the movies, like he always had a hard time not eating people. So it's like, quit torturing him. Let him stay home for a little while. So I thought that was funny. That's a very good point. I know when I read that, I'm like, he probably should have stayed home for a little while. That's very interesting. So Emmett, oh, you know, I also love Carlisle. Carlisle I love. And I love in this book how much Edward admires him. So I feel like he's mentioned him so many times in this book on how much he looks up to Carlisle. And the character who played Carlisle in the movies, I'm like, he was perfect. Like he was so good for that role. That's a very good point. Yeah. So cool. I don't know, you guys. I liked these chapters. I really enjoyed getting into Edward's head and seeing what personality traits he was getting out of Bella. Like, I enjoy kind of seeing him struggle to get to know her because it's the only person that he can't get into her mind. So I'm like, yeah, you get to figure it out the hard way, like everybody else. So I thought that was cool. Okay, so it's already been 30 minutes. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Okay, so should we do the next 3 chapters, 9, 10, and 11? I think that would be good because I think, yes, these chapters are a little bit longer. And so finding time to sit down and actually read through them, I'm like, I busted it out literally last night, you guys, because between this and trying to get the shows in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to figure this out. So what if we do chapters 9 through 11? So that means 9, 10, and 11. So that means read through chapter 11. So we'll read 9 through 11. How many times are we going to say it? Okay, everybody said yes, yes. Okay, in Pitch Perfect, she was in the Bellas. Yes. That's a good point. Okay. So chapters 9 through 11 will be the next chapters that we read. What is today? Thursday. I don't feel like we'll have enough time to get through it by Monday, but I do kind of want to get back to the Monday schedule. Do you think we can bust it out? What do you think? Chapters 3 through 9 by Monday to discuss? Or do we want to keep it a full week and do it Thursday? Okay, Susan says Monday. We can do it. Okay, I like it. You guys are motivating me. I like it. I like it. Okay, so plan on Monday. The 3 chapters we'll discuss on Monday. And then remember that Virgin River will be Wednesday. So we're watching all 5 seasons of Virgin, or not seasons. All 5 episodes. So they have 10 total. We're watching the first 5 episodes. We'll be discussing that on Wednesday. So Monday will be 9 through 11. Wednesday will be the first 5 episodes of Virgin River. Does that sound good? Can we do early Monday like this? Yeah, Emily, I think I could work that out. I could do, what time is it right now? Between like 3 and 4 because the kids are done with school by then. So I could totally do it earlier if that works. Yes, I'll try. We could do Monday. Yes, we finished the first episode. Oh, awesome. I haven't started, so I need to start it tonight. I'm going to have to take notes. I literally, on my phone, I just like write in my notes things in the book, in the chapters that stick out to me. Otherwise, it gets all mumbled in my brain and they all like mix together. That's perfect. I'm going to have to take note. Okay, I will be in the live. Okay, awesome. You guys are awesome. I'm so glad you're doing this with me, or at least joining me, even if you're not reading it. I love that you guys are here for the discussion and just hang out with me. I really appreciate it. Virgin River looks awesome. Yeah, so people are loving it. I've gotten messages that people have started it and they're like, oh, I'm loving it so far. So I'm going to start that tonight. Okay, chapters 9 through 11, we will discuss Monday. And I will text crew. I will put reminders in there and also on my Instagram, Tina_Phillips_. So if you guys get confused or whatever. Haven't started. Have a good weekend. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, you all have a good weekend too. We'll see you guys later. Bye.